Hey, welcome to the Digital Detox Deep Dive. My name is Mike. If we've never had a chance to interact before outside of Instagram, it's really nice to meet you. My wife Ashton and I, we pastor a local church in Raleigh, North Carolina, and over the last 13 years, basically, we've given our lives to building the local church here, to watching God do some incredible things. We've gone from 7 people in our living room to recently hosting several thousand people at our downtown Christmas event called Christmas at Focus. So the Lord has done some really cool things. We're a multi-site church now, one church in 4 locations. And one of the things that I know is that ministry is busy, and there is immense amount of content in the world about how to be more productive. But towards the end of the year, I don't want to be more productive. I want to be more receptive. So this video is going to show you some of the very practical ways that I move from productivity for work to receptivity, and reminding myself how God feels about his children, and kind of resetting my soul for the year through a digital detox. I scroll for a living, much like you guys do. It's almost on demand at all times. The phone is the ever-present help in time of need, and I don't want it to be that way. I don't want my phone to be omnipresent. So a couple of things that I do is I get very intentional towards the end of the year by putting my phone on airplane mode for several weeks at a time. And I want to just take a period of time and pause from the never-ending demand of public ministry. So the way that we do that is we get very intentional, and I have to get completely intentional about getting off grid and shutting everything down. So why do this? Number one, it's because I need to be reliant fully on the presence of God in my life. I need to have full trust in the Lord. And if I go and never take time to really detox, then my trust gets to become more anchored in my abilities and my giftings than it is in the presence of God. So I take a look at my calendar, and once I look at my calendar, I find a chunk of time where the demand of life and the demand of ministry won't be as significant as in other seasons. I wouldn't do this, during Easter or during, your big holidays if your ministry is at high demand. But for us, the end of the year is the perfect window, usually from the Sunday before Christmas to the Saturday after Christmas is a great block of time to choose. You can choose whatever you'd like, but what I do is I prepare myself several weeks in advance. So as of this recording, we're still several weeks out from that time. And what I do is I prepare myself with a reading list. I take A Tale of Three Kings with me. I usually take some sort of personal development book. I need to replace the scrolling with something that actually feeds me. And obviously it goes without saying, but my primary tool is going to be the Bible. And I have this in different variations. This is my preaching Bible. It is a New Living Translation. Then the Bible that I use for my devotional time is the ESV Bible journals. They come in each book at a time. The scriptures on one side, journal paper on the other, and I use that as well. Then after I have my reading list compiled, I also want to have music at my disposal if I would like for prayer time and such, but I don't want to be tempted to be on the internet. So I take some time and I build a playlist and download it to my phone. And by building that playlist and downloading it to my phone, I'm not going to be tempted to scroll on the internet when it's on airplane mode. I like taking a quality pen with me. I have these micro pens that I use for my calendar and some highlighters that I use for my Bible, and I keep those at the ready. And then I really try my best not to have a large device. Like I try not to bring my laptop or my iPad with me when I go on this digital detox. I have mostly paper and pen. I try not to be scrolling at all. I create what's called a handoff plan, and I send that to our entire team and our entire staff, letting them know, hey, I'm not going to be available this time, and this time. Here's what needs to be done while I'm away. And then I create auto responders for my email. And you can even do that now with iMessage, I believe, create an auto responder. I get ahead of my work, I log off, and then I really try to just seek the presence of God. And if the Lord gives me an idea, a ministry idea that would be work related, I just write it down and I let it rest. A lot of times, a lot of the time is spent really in meditation. And the goal is not loneliness, but the goal is solitude. I want to get alone with God for a season. I want to refresh my soul and refresh my spirit with Him. And so when you create that space, when you build that into your yearly and annual rhythm, you will find that the blessing and favor of God follows that because your soul is rested. I've heard it said before that the best you is a rested you. And that means that you can go into January of the next year ready to pour out because you spent significant amount of time receiving. And obviously grace is shown to those who need to maybe work their side job, or maybe you're bivocational, or maybe you have an event that requires internet connection. I'm not saying that you have to go off to a monastery, but you can block out some intentional time to really set aside to hear from God. And when you do that, I believe the return on that investment will be greater than any of the output you could have tried to produce during that detox. If you have any questions, I'm always available. Our Instagram for Break 200 is just at Break200, DOTCOM, which is .com, spelled out. Or my Instagram is at Mike Santiago. Again, I'll be off the grid towards the end of the year, but you can always reach out and I'll get back to you. God bless.